beloved one.
Om. Namaste, welcome everyone to this fine gathering today here in London. And it's 6 months ago since I was last in London. it's good to be here again. Just checking while I'm speaking if you can hear me, and if you can give an indication about just by raising your hand if you can hear. Very good at the top and here. We are good, no? Okay, wonderful. Thank you. May I, before we go any further, just to have a sense of how many people are familiar with satsangs? Just a sense of how many people? A good number. And no doubt there are many people who also have come, and perhaps we are meeting or seeing each other for the first time, and that's perfectly fine. Somewhat, when I've been invited to gatherings like this, where large numbers of people have come, and as a one-off event, just knowing and feeling how is it that this short time together, perhaps a couple of hours, can be of the greatest benefit to all of us. And so I have an idea. I'm not going to talk about it just now because I feel that I was informed that there may be quite a number of people who have questions already that they would like to ask or something like that. So we will, I will invite some of those questions at some point. If it feels right, I would like to invite you to participate in a very simple exercise with me, where I endeavor to point your attention in a way that you may experience directly your own true nature beyond egoic identity. Would you be up for that, you feel? Yes. Okay, it's going to go like that. And for many of you who may have heard me before, as you may be aware, I never make any plans what I'm going to speak about. But I think I'm always speaking about the same thing anyway. But not thinking ahead of time, well, today I want to discuss this thing or that thing. I feel that this is the most natural way for myself. Then I don't have any preconceived ideas about what kind of audience I'm going to be speaking with, and we can meet fresh. So, thank you for coming today. Let's see how this evening unfolds, by the grace of God. Thank you. Okay, so some hands are going up, and I don't know how we plan to do this. Some people will come, or you may step to the microphone. I believe there are some of the Sangha over here and who are taking care of the microphones, and if you want to make your way to the nearest point that feels good for you. And I may not specifically, because my view of all in the front, it seems fairly easy and straightforward. But as the light becomes more softened and fades in the back, I may just indicate someone from this side or that side, so it's not so personal. You are the first to come? Okay, please say.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can now.
Namaste, Moojibaba.
Namaste.
Thank you. Very pleased to have you here with us today in your presence. I first came across you in Rishikesh last year.
Okay.
So it's good to be with you here today. My question is it's actually an age-old question, perhaps for many speakers before me and all those here with me as well. And it's about who we are and why we're here on this planet. And I'd just like to refer to your book here on page 15, a very short paragraph, if I may.
Okay.
You say, what we are is consciousness. The body is the vehicle through which consciousness can taste experiencing. And in the human form, consciousness has the capacity and opportunity to realize its own source and thus come into a direct experience of this.
Yes.
So my question is, why does consciousness even want to bother doing so? Isn't it quite a high-risk strategy, given that the psychological mind is always in the background trying to sabotage all of this?
So your question is, why does consciousness bother at all to put on this show?
In manifesting all these human lives here,
Yes,
especially when people experience suffering.
Yes.
Because I'm a medical doctor, and I come across lots of patients, for instance, with mental health issues, who say to me that they want to commit suicide, they can't see a way out of the misery. And I think to myself, how am I really going to help them there? I say to them that, well, challenges come to your life perhaps for a reason. You know, they come to all of our lives to help us learn things and help us grow. But sometimes I really wonder whether that's true.
Yes. It is true. It is true that if someone were to say, let's give a different reading. Supposing life was that we all are here and everything was just fun. Just pleasure, 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 everyday pleasure. Okay? And then there would not necessarily be any motivation or incentive to grow and to expand in our knowledge and experience. It's just every day is just repetitively wonderful and nice and sweet, like that. So if it were like that, the aspiration, which is very necessary to evolve and to grow and to come much more deeply into a direct understanding and experience of our true nature, that would stand very little chance also. Okay? And the very functioning of life, of existence itself, no one can refute that it is very much a dualistic play of a dance of interrelated opposites. You can put it like this, of good and bad and right and wrong and this and that and you and me and heaven and hell and gods and demons and whatever. Suppose it were not so. How would it be then for you? If there was no sickness, there would be no need for doctors.
Yeah.
If there were people who were always happy, we imagine, no? And what would make us so happy? As we are now, you have had, in your profession, and any human being, especially those living in cities, we have plenty of experience of interactions with other human beings and so on. No? And they vary from pleasant to really hostile or aggressive in some way, or pretty mundane, you may say. What would you conceive, or how would you feel? Could it be different, that the world is full of just happy people? And what would make you so happy? I'm going somewhere with this, but I'd like to ask for a response from you at this point.
Yeah. I mean, that's the kind of image that the media projects all the time, really. That,
What?
you know, it's better to be happy, you know, to have a lot of money, to be wealthy, to be having all the choices that money can give you, you know, rather than to be facing all the challenges, really.
Does
you know,
having money make you happy?
Well, it doesn't, but it gives you choices, you know, lots of different choices to be
Does
able
lots
to do
of
different
choices
things.
give you happiness?
It can do in
Let's
some
slow
cases.
down a little bit, you know?
Yes.
Slow down a bit, huh? Does having, because we seem to venerate choice or have a sense of a wider range of options, particularly in the West, it may appear, you know, that we have so much more choice, so much more, such a wide spectrum of choices. And you're from the way you're putting it, that makes us more happy. Would you say that, really? that having more choices make you more happy, having more money make you more happy, having more easy access to material possessions necessarily makes you more happy than those who don't have it?
Because well, not exactly in those ways, yeah. But for instance, there are, I mean, obviously we're living in a developed country, so the choices that we have is not the same, it doesn't give the same kind of satisfaction a lot of times compared to, for example, if you're in a poor country and if you have the choice between being able to eat and get medical care and that's because of you not having money to afford that, then in those cases, I think money can make a big difference there.
Yes. There's also, I'd like to say something. It's not so straightforward because I sometimes say that there is a poverty in wealth and there's a wealth in poverty also. It's not so much that we are cultured to feel that if we have all the things that we have been told we should have, and people seem to aim for those things, that necessarily makes you more happy or you stand a greater chance to be happy. But as our observations verified this as a fact, in the West you can say that people have more access to, material wealth and comfort and so on. Are we necessarily more happy than some other countries that may be materialistically poorer or at a disadvantage from a materialistic point of view?
No, not necessarily so.
Yes. Okay. I don't want to get stuck on this thing about material things and having money and so on. But you did mention that, having wider options in some way makes it more likely that we'll be more comfortable and more happy.
I mean, that's from my own direct experience as well. For instance, if I wasn't able to make a living, and if I have to work today, then I wouldn't be here with you today to enjoy your presence, the Satsang today. And I've personally been in financially challenged positions before as well, and that caused me a lot of misery too in those times.
There are times when you also can be privileged financially, but you may not necessarily have the appreciation of your advantage.
Sure.
You may take many more things for granted than someone who has little and have greater value for the little they have than you for the much that you have. So these things are not things that we can just gauge and say right across the board, this is so, But can I come back to your quintessential pointing?
Please.
Could you again get back to what's the real core of your question?
The real core is, what is the purpose of human manifestation?
Yes.
Why does consciousness even need to manifest human beings? If it's really omnipotent and all-knowing, why does it even need to experience all this through us?
We are not different from the very consciousness that you refer to. And it in its dynamic expression, it is manifesting, or you may say it paints a portrait of itself as a person and then lives in that paradigm or mode of personhood. It seems that every single human being, not just human beings, we can go to the insect world and animal world and see a proof of what I'm speaking also. But let's confine it just to ourselves for the moment, that we can see that, everyone has a natural yearning to be happy, first thing. But I feel in every case, in every sentient being, there is this, first of all, we accept that we are fundamentally our body and the conditioning that arises for us through our bodily experience. You see, that is at the very, we are so much convinced of that, that really we question that. And that seems to be a fact, that when anyone asks you about yourself, much of our responses is based upon our bodily manifestation, and the conditioning that arose for us, our beliefs and identity is very much a part of that. But as life lived at that level of consciousness is full of friction and inconsistencies and doubts and frustrations at some point, and if it were not so, perhaps the urge to evolve, the aspiration to grow beyond the sense of the limitations we now perceive, that would not come. So it feels for me that the life is a lot to do with transcending the states that we live in for a while until it becomes either redundant, or we just naturally feel an urge to go beyond what we think we presently know. And that is, when it comes to that state, where human beings are not just on an outer momentum of growth, like looking outward, aiming outward through sense satisfaction or our imagination or futuristic projections and so on, when that is not really when we have not gained the satisfaction we imagine we would, then that very dissatisfaction can also stimulate a deeper urge to go more deeply into what our true nature is. And you ask, what is the purpose?
Yes.
I would say that as you evolve internally, meaning that you are coming to discover deeper truths about yourself, you will see that somehow you become more aware of yourself as consciousness more than as person. Certainly most spiritual disciplines, religions in their purer functions, are enabling human beings to discover more their intuitive nature, to uncover something inside that is more loving, more kind, more open, less afraid, and so on, you know. This meeting today, I hope as we go through, you will come to not only learn more mentally or come to any kind of like intellectual or mental conclusion about anything. I would like to invite you into the very experience of what I'm speaking, actually. So I would say it would seem like it is sometimes called in different cultures and religions, that this life as we perceive it, based on an idea of ourselves as a person, that it is a movement of transcendence, of growing, of evolving into higher states of consciousness. I'm using the word consciousness. There are other words we can use also. Maybe of a kind of inner refinement, greater wisdom, a deeper understanding of nature and of ourselves and so on. That actually changes the way in which we experience also the life that we see. I mean, there is, we don't all see the same thing and in the same way. Each one's view, there is nothing, I can say, that exists, no object or even any idea that exists with one single inerrant, unquestionable meaning. The meaning of a thing is in the mind of the perceiver of it. And that then makes it much more subtle and much more diverse, the ways in which we experience. That will correspond to the level of your own maturing as to how you are perceiving the life you think you see in front of you. We are not seeing in necessarily the same way. So depending upon the level of your inner maturing, the same thing will look different to you even at different stage in your spiritual growth, or in your inner growth. You see, at some point you'll begin to appreciate more authentically the majesty of life, actually. you will begin to appreciate the display for how wise it is, that there's a great power, a great wisdom, not a disorder, but a great harmony behind the functioning of this universe. But you will come to that experientially rather than just reading or learning through books about it.
But you've also said in the book that billions before us have failed to do so. Only a few have actually been able to recognize the true nature. So is this an experiment that has gone really wrong? And is that the purpose of rebirths?
It could be looked
again
at,
and again?
It could be looked at like that, we continue to repeat sometimes not just the joys, but the errors that we make until you understand and transcend them, meaning that there's no further need for them to come back. Whatever you have conquered, so to speak, you will not suffer from again in that way. This is ordinary experience of everybody, you know. But some things we don't get over them quite at the same speed, and they seem to keep recurring until somehow you get the gist of what you can take from that, and then somehow you can move on, so to speak, you know.
So what would you suggest that I say to my patients who say, you know, I can't see an end to all of this, I want to end my life then, really? So how do I advise them about this based on what you've just said?
Well, first of all, I would invite you to Satsang. I would invite you to spend a bit more time than we sometimes think we learn simply by attending a session like this, and that what you learn is enough to then take that further to advise others. The real help that you may offer is for yourself to wake up to the truth, rather than to merely have an understanding of it mentally and then just passing on concepts. An exchange of concepts, it will not be enough. But if your own mind gets integrated into what I call the heart's energy and so on, you come more into a deeper, a profound and irrefutable experience for yourself, then your words will not just be empty words and concepts. They will carry a certain presence and power in them, and that is more useful. Not just the words, also your very presence, even if you could not speak, might have a greater influence and impact on your patients than merely telling them something you have read in a book.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
But just before you go, I would just want to say, I started by saying, and it was not, I'm not being funny about it, I would be, what may happen today, I don't know, but perhaps if some of the things that we speak about really resonate internally for you, it may initiate a movement in you to a deeper understanding, an experiential understanding, that will be of greater value than, say, something we debate about and move on to another subject. So I do encourage people. Yes, there are many videos online of so many teachings and so many teachers, no? But if you find something that resonates and it speaks to you, no doubt many of you have come here because of something you may have seen. You may have watched a YouTube or something like this, and it somehow resonates. And something inside wants to go further or to know more or to go more deeply into it. Then I would encourage that, because, you know, in our speedy, present, modern life, so to speak, this kind of over-the-counter sort of expectations of people that we simply learn by someone saying something, you catch it and you pass it on. I feel that we need to slow down a little bit and to give a bit more space to genuine experiencing, genuine understanding, meaningful understanding that really is transformative, not just informative, you see. So I would extend that invitation to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you.
Thank you. There's someone here? Okay.
Hi, Mooji.
Hi.
Mooji, my question is, you talk a lot about the consciousness of the mind, you know, and about coming home to our true being. And who is it that's watching the consciousness? That's our true being. My question is when will we have that homecoming? And do we ever have an homecoming to come home to be our true selves? And how do we reach that point?
Well, I hope to very, very much respond to that in a genuine, practical, living example today, if you will permit me
Of course.
to impart a little bit of that invitation to you. But before we do that, I wanted just to give a space open. Many people have maybe never seen me before, and to see whether we can address some of the questions you may have in such a way that it really has some meaning and impact in your life for a higher and greater benefit to you. You see?
I do.
So I'm really not interested. I was not brought up much on reading and studying about life in that way. I came into it through experience. So I really don't just enjoy talking about it. There are times now that I find spontaneously and unexpectedly that some sharing may come, depending upon the company I happen to be in, and that there's a real joy in it. There's almost just something spontaneously coming like that, and it's just filled with joy. It's not even about teaching even. But in those moments, it's more inspiring and full of love and joy. It's another way of expressing love or something, even without my conscious intention to do that. But in a gathering like this, we just see what comes. Like whatever questions you put, as much as I can address that in some way that has some real value, I hope it does like that. Now you ask, you see, that I'm speaking about consciousness, but will it ever come to a point where you actually experience what it is to be your original nature?
Yeah.
And not just be striving endlessly. And so I feel very happy for this question and hope that I will take this up with you today to guide in a very simple way, because I don't feel that it is difficult. As I said, you may have heard me say that for myself, I say the truth is very simple, but the seeker of truth is very complex. And it is this complexity that we keep stumbling over ourselves with, this kind of complex mental ideas that we have, and projections and judgments, and taking things to be facts which are in fact fiction. If you care to go more deeply into it, these things will come to the surface, and you may indeed come to see, wait a second, I'm carrying a lot of junk in my mind which are not in service to a true life. You see? So I hope that you will stay to participate in this.
Thank you, Mooji.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Okay. Someone say? Okay, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
Namaste, Mooji.
Namaste, darling.
Thank you. I'm very happy to be here and
Yeah.
see you in person.
Yeah.
A year ago, actually in January, I was in a very deep place. And the only thing I could do was praying.
Yes.
And a couple of months later, I saw your first video, and within a month, sorry.
It's okay.
Everything has changed.
Yes.
And I feel a lot of gratitude towards you, because it's not just the stress or depression has disappeared, but I'm really happy now, although you can see I'm a little nervous, but thank you. But so I can see how everything is changing inside me, and at the moment, actually, I like to keep my eyes closed because it is beautiful.
Yes.
And
At some point, it will still be beautiful with the eyes open also. You see, I understand what happened because sometimes when we close our eyes, in a sense, it is like the eyes are kind of like the curtains to the outer world or so. So when you close your eyes, somehow it feels more that you're inside your very being itself. You see, and this is something that it's right across different cultures, different ways of thinking. It's a universal thing, even in the animal kingdom, same thing also. You see, so yes.
yes, and I don't know the time now, but a couple of weeks ago or so, I suddenly understood your metaphor of the two birds.
Yes.
Not just mentally, but now I see both of them.
Yes.
So but I don't know who that I is. I just sense it.
Very good.
And basically, this is my question, because I feel good. I have difficulties, but they dissolve on their own. So
Yes.
I don't have trouble with them. They are not sticky anymore. And so I don't know what to do, because I know I can't do nothing, but how to so if you, I have a little afraid of being stuck in that state, because it is good, and I. So when I prayed a year ago, and I only prayed to go the stress and depression away, and now I want a full package. I don't want to stop there. But if I don't have problems, what to do?
Oh my God. You remind me one friend who was always speaking, the problem is, right? And yes, I know, but the problem is, and he was like this. And one time, he's listening now too, so we had spent some time together here in London also. And one morning he woke up and he came, we sat outside having some tea, and I said, "You're good?" He said, "Yeah." He says, the problem is, I can't find a problem. So even that's habit, you see. The problem is I cannot find a problem, you see. But he was a little bit more cheerful about it. I would like to return to something you say, and maybe perhaps you spoke about a metaphor that I have spoken about these two birds. And I would like just to open that up for those who may not have heard that, and I think it might be significant, considering that there's an intention to again come into a practical recognition of that. It all started with some years ago. I saw a painting in India of two birds, and so it triggered something for me, and how I started to speak about it, I said, if you imagine there is a tree, and on a branch there sits a bird, and who is building a nest. The bird is building a nest on this branch. And the nest here was a symbol of someone who is building the nest of their life, having a job, maybe starting a family or whatever it is. They're involved in what we are all mostly told you should be doing something with your life, get a job, make a home, get married to a good cook better, and so on, have children and have a nice home, perhaps even a holiday home. So this is the first bird, and it's on a branch, it's building its nest, it's building its life. But on a branch just above this branch sits another bird, identical in appearance. But this bird is not building anything at all. It just quietly looks. It's just quietly observing. In its field of observing, it can see that bird, the first bird, building its nest, building its life. It's aware of the sky and the clouds and the wind and the trees and everything, but it quietly looks. And this bird, for me, corresponds to a space within our own being where we can just be observing. Just observing. And I would like to add something else, observing with detachment. Detachment. So these two birds are both referring to positions in our own life. A stage where we are participating in the great river of life, finding a job, starting a relationship, having a family, whatever it is that we have to do. And yet, within the same body, there is a space, a power to simply observe. And I often say to people who come to Satsang, are you aware of this second bird within your own self? The capacity to observe the activity, the outer activity of life, and the goings and comings and the friendships and the actions, reactions, interactions of life. And yet there's a space, a quiet space within you, this second bird, so to speak, position, which just quietly looks on, but is not caught in the bubble of any scenario at all. Are you aware of this? Okay. It would be good now and again if you give me some response about it. No?
Yes.
So I'm just indicating why she referred to this, this metaphor of the bird. And you're saying now that previously your life was very much in the first bird mode.
Yeah.
And that mode can sometimes be beautiful, sometimes be painful, and so on. No? But you came to discover the capacity and the ability within you to just observe. And through observing with detachment, a great change has emerged in your life. Now that period of sorrow and frustrations and so on seem to have sort of drifted away.
Yes.
And you're in a deeper place of contentment and peace. And now you're saying, your question is, how can it be that you are a bit concerned that you don't stagnate? Is that what you're saying?
To move on.
Huh?
To move on, yes.
You want to move on?
Yes, because when I was in the busy bird state, I sensed the other one. I knew that there should be something more. That's why I prayed.
Okay.
And my prayers were listened. So, but now I know the silent one, and I sense something is watching this too.
So now, listen, she's even saying now, because from the, say, first bird position, where we are very much involved in life, doing our thing and so on, not even aware of that capacity within ourselves to be more observant. And I'll tell you how important that is, because that's one of the greatest tools you will have in your spiritual evolution, is to become aware of the capacity, the ability to observe with detachment, okay? Because now we have all across the world more and more, in some prisons also, these talks have been taking place. Some of my students also have been bringing this also into the prisons and finding tremendous results amongst people who are in captivity, so to speak, finding sometimes a greater sense of freedom than you may have walking freely around on the street. Simply by this capacity to observe without somehow combining your inner being with just the functioning of your mind and the idea we have of ourselves, so to speak. No? So now you say that, and I wonder if that's what you're saying, that even this second bird position, which is more spacious, more peaceful, more contemplative perhaps, yes. That are you saying that there is now an increased capacity in which even the second bird is observed? Is that true?
Well, I don't know, but I sense this, yes.
Yes. That which is capable of observing the second bird, does it have any concern at all?
Probably not.
Feel it through what I'm speaking now. Don't just think like this, but actually take up the position of that. Who are you there who is not only able to perceive the first bird position, as it were, of life going on and busy and meetings you have to be at and people you have to see and successes and failures and that strong dynamic expression of life, but to the next stage where you are more able to observe, and not only just to observe, but to live in the fragrance of that greater freedom, okay? And now I'm sensing you're saying, but even that itself is observable? Or where did your question come from when you started to say, but I'm getting a little concerned that I don't want to stagnate, I want to move on? To what were you referring then? Was there some now increasing dissatisfaction with the second bird position?
No.
So why would that doubt come in you then, that concern?
Because when I was the busy one, I had the sensation, I can't explain that, but I had the sensation, and so through your pointings, I experienced the second one.
Yes.
And now I have a sensation, but also my mind knows about enlightenment. And
your mind seemed to know.
Well,
or
not
to know about.
I mean, yes. So heard of it. So,
yeah.
And
perhaps that is what has started to create a sense of disappointment. Okay, now I've spent enough time on the second bird level now. I must go higher. Is that what is happening?
Maybe.
Is that a genuine, is that not itself merely a thought coming up also, that you're able to observe? Did you start to feel dissatisfaction with the second bird position?
No.
No, you need not worry about that. Really, you do not need to worry about that. Just continue to confirm what is natural for you. Whatever it is that is arising in you, whether it is some thought, feeling, memory, sensations, judgments, projections, something has matured enough to see that they are transient, they are ephemeral, there are nothing stable about them. So if you come to see that, you will not invest so much energy and belief in them, because the place from where you're looking is much more stable then those thoughts that are coming now, that seem to be inciting your mind now to move on and so on, you see?
Yeah, I see. Thank you.
When it is natural time to move beyond this, it will come spontaneously, not produced by fear or that kind of agitation or worry.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much.
It's good?
I think so. Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. For the moment, we'll leave it. Any more? There are some hands going up here. Is there anyone? Okay. Can I speak with you then? You can come to this microphone. Yeah, come.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you. It seems that when things happen, there's lots of moments where I feel like there's something I should do. Or
Could you come a bit closer to
Sorry,
the microphone?
can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah. Brilliant. There's times when things happen, and it feels like there's something I should be doing, but I don't, and I told myself I would get up and speak, because every time it feels like something's supposed to happen, something retracts back and stops me from going in fully. I've had wonderful experiences of, blissful states and that sort of thing, but when those times come now, something pulls back from it and says, no. The other day, you were at Brixton, and there was a lady, Kim, that came to see you, and she was, I think, outside your flat, and there was a lovely moment, and I walked past and put my hand on, I think it's her son that came with her, and he sort of squeezed my hand to stay, but I pulled away and carried on walking, and I thought, and I remember standing in the line thinking, this isn't, I should hold him, I should hug him, and that feeling came, and sorry. What's holding me back?
Yes. Thank you. First of all, I have to say this to you, that as long as we remain loyal to our identity in personhood, these states will continue to fluctuate within you. You see? And people will step forward and they will ask, but how can I do this and how can I do that? And your questions are arising from that field of consciousness which is immersed in personhood, a field that you must overcome, because nothing is stable there. I may give you some advice which you may or may not be able to put into practice. You see? The mind is very, very much in a dominant position, it seems. You see? Because the person and the mind, they have a relationship. It's homegrown for the person. As soon as you come to the higher state of consciousness, where I would refer to as the state of presence, which is equating to the position of observing more, these states which are troubling you now, they will begin to dissipate. They will lose their power. Because the mind, or the psychological self, cannot intimidate your true nature. It can only antagonize the idea you have of who you are. The idea you have of who you are is not what you are. We have had innumerable ideas about who we are at different times, and they, one by one, they come and go. None of them are you absolutely. But as long as we remain in the field of such intense play of duality, which is there and it is somehow being supported by this sense of personhood, these fluctuations will continue to trouble you. Hence the need to go beyond them. People try different techniques of meditation, contemplation, self-inquiry, chanting, bhajans, whatever it is that we do. It is only to reduce and lessen the denseness of that personhood state, to make it more open, more pliable, more receptive to subtler knowledge and understanding. You see? So that's what. So when I hear questions of this nature, they sound, many people may say, yes, I have a similar kind of problem, whatever it is. But I can only encourage that, that if you really can hear what I'm speaking, because there's a natural urge and drive inbuilt in all sentient beings to evolve to higher states of consciousness.
I don't want to be bothered by it anymore. I'd rather just these things, when they come up, it doesn't matter, you know. I don't want to be thinking, oh, I should have done this or I should have done that, and I would rather just
You see,
enjoy.
The operative word, the important word, is the I sense. Now, if you're not used to hearing like this, it may feel like it takes quite a while to get adjusted to this way of speaking, no? And the mind, because there is a certain power functioning within us that is not in support of your liberation. Do you notice or not? That it seems to function more to keep your attention fixated upon your personal existence and on sort of mundane day-to-day thinking, okay? And we are very, very much influenced by that energy. However, what you truly are is so immensely beyond that state, but it has to be awakened within you. The evolution of human consciousness is to rise above the state of personhood, which is not so vulnerable to these kind of negative suggestions from the lower mind. And as you experience going higher, I'm hoping that this is going to be the taste for everybody in this room. I'm going to stand and say this to you today. I will take one or two more questions and we can go straight into that. But it is important enough for me to say that this type of thing, it is worldwide. It doesn't matter what religion, whether you are religious or irreligious, you're a believer or non-believer, it doesn't matter. It is a condition of the human consciousness that when we are immersed in the state of personhood, whereby we feel I am this person, I'm a man, I'm 36 years old, I studied here and this, and that becomes somehow a representation of who you think you are, you will be knocked about by these kind of thoughts and feelings. You may experience from time to time states of joy, momentary states of joy and elation, but they will keep coming and going. They will not feel stable. And something is yearning for a happiness which doesn't change and come back into sorrow again. You see? For that, it's not just that someone is going to give your person something and your person is going to be happy forever. No, freedom is not for the person. Freedom is from the person, actually. And when you say that, I'm not saying, oh, personhood, I'm not saying like this. I'm saying it is a lower state of consciousness. The perfect consciousness is already in you, but it's not accessible to the sense you're living of yourself as a person yet. It takes a certain kind of evolution, and we can get to those states at various speeds. You can go slowly, and you can go very quickly into those states. You see? So if you just bear with me for another few moments, maybe what we share may be of some value to you. That's good. Thank you. Okay. Oh, someone is already at the microphone there? Okay, speak on then, someone. Okay, go ahead, please. Come, come. The hand went up very quick. The mouth is to follow. Come. Speak. Not ready?
I am.
Okay.
I'm not confused about what you say, and I can see,
Yeah.
and I can hear. But to stand with it is something completely different.
To stand with it.
Yeah.
Good. Everything that you have said so far, what has come from this group, is significant, and I hope that by the end of our little exercise, it will be much clearer for you that the present statement you are making, that you grasp what I'm saying and what I'm finding, you're not
I
afraid
do.
of it.
I
Not afraid.
see, and
But the application of this, to stand with it, you're saying, that is a different story.
no, it's, yes, I guess to some extent, it's just what you're pointing to is something I've seen for such a long time.
Yes.
And it's always been that in me.
Yes.
And as stupid as it may sound, we've moved together, and it's a point of reference that I've always gone back to in my life, and no one has ever said, this is what you are. And the point I stand now is, if that's me, then what's this? What am I? And when I do the invitation, of course I listen to it, and it's incredibly helpful. And there's nothing I can argue with when you say that. When I listen, when I read, there's nothing. I'm left with such anger, and I cry.
You left with anger.
Anger because there's a part that just feels this can't be right.
Oh.
And then there's a space behind it where I see that I'm actually not. It doesn't matter whether I agree or not. There's a space, and then I cry because of that division where I
Yes.
don't know where I lie between the two.
Yes. The division, so-called, is not real. It's just believed. It's been a habit to believe that over time you believe it into existence and it becomes your experience. But fundamentally it is not real. You see? Fundamentally it is not real. It's as though there's a kind of reflex where something just switches back into the old regime of identity, personal identity, and all the noise that comes up with that, and quickly an identification is formed with that, and that identification is believed in, the power to believe being one of your intimate powers, but still not a definition of what you are, because you are aware of that play of identification, of belief, and all the noise that comes up with that. There's an awareness that stands apart from that. And as I said earlier, it is not caught in the bubble of any scenario that you perceive. But because of habit, perhaps, something goes back into that mode and it is believed. Both the reverting to the old mode of personhood and the belief that attends to it are all phenomenal. They are transient, they are momentary. Watched from the real place, which I hope that you'll be able to come to recognize, you'll see that they are also just clouds passing. But something seems to cling to those clouds also, an identity that seems very virile in your case, but that identity, it is itself also a cloud passing. And you forget that your true nature is more like the sky, which is vast and unchanging. You see? We must outgrow that habit. Grace is with you also in that. It is not something, we have come, as I explained earlier when I first came and I sat here, that perhaps many of you, we are meeting like this for the first time. And, I have not come to make a lecture with you. sometimes it takes a little time for your mind to defrost from its rigidity and stuck habits. It's not bad. It is very, very much encouraged that you move towards the energy field of Sangha, which is very supportive to that, to your sort of, melting. You know what, Satsang, I would put it like this. How you are in a Satsang is like a piece of ice in a glass of warm water. And a melting is taking place. You can say the ice is surrendering to the warm water if you want to say that. But whether you want to use that kind of feeling or not, it's a happening. Something begins to defrost. Ice is water, water is water. A melting is taking place, at the end of which there is just water. No pain, no hurt, no amputations. A very natural, what I may call deconstruction of certain ideas and concepts which are fictitious based rather than factual. And you need to be reminded of this, of course. In the same way, many of the ancient books are repetitive. Some of the greatest books, in my view, I'm saying, scriptures and the Gitas and so on, tend to be kind of repetitive. And sometimes people say, why do they keep on repeating themselves? And it's largely because we come into ignorance through repetition. We keep hearing the same wrong thing over and over again until somehow we believe it. And as I used the term earlier, we believe it into existence and it becomes your experience. And now you must find a contrary thought to act as an antidote to the first thought. What I want to share with you is beautifully simple, in fact, because and it's great. It is if I were not able to share this with you, then again it would only be, okay, this is another step to perhaps trigger or shake up, kind of stimulate an urge within you for the grace in you to flow back to your own self. But even with the sharing out of the invitation, as we call it, invitation to freedom, it will still take somehow an inner commitment from you to your own self that this is valuable enough for me to keep looking at this and bringing my attention to it. Because sometimes it seems as though we want so much, we want everything, we want the highest thing, but yet we offer so little of ourselves in return. I have not come to ask for some exchange or give up your life and become a monk, nothing like that. Continue in your life, but now observing and experiencing it from a truer place in yourself. That will make all the difference. It's much more direct, it's more authentic, it's more natural than trying to correct the things you see out there. Because the things you see out there is just the way you're seeing and not what you're seeing. When you move to higher ground within your own self through understanding, as the consciousness raises and goes to a higher altitude, if I could give a sort of, if I could say that is like another platform, and on that platform everything is working at a higher level than at the previous lower one. Things move with more grace, or you perceive them in that way. You're less afraid of life. If something feels more totally integrated with life, there's more warmth, more with the lessening of fear comes a greater confidence and maybe a flowing outward of love that come from you. More compassion, more patience, more silence, more peace. They are already in you, but as yet unrecognized. Perhaps today we will come into a clearer and more profound recognition of that. So perhaps I don't take any more questions for the moment, and I will just put to you, if it were presented to you that it is possible that today, while we are here, you may go beyond and behind the facade of personhood and ego. And when I say go beyond, I don't mean beyond that way, I mean beyond this way. To actually come to a clear and unified, harmonious recognition of what one's true self is. Would you be open for it? Yes. Up there? Yes. Thank you. Let's say you approached and you said, Mooji, I hear that you may be someone who can help me or guide me to a deeper realization of who I truly am. Because I feel my ego is very, very strong, my mind is very strong, and it always seems to overwhelm me. Even though I want to do what is good, I end up somehow feeling that I'm just pushed about by my own mind. Is there some way that I can go beyond this? And from the room of being, I say, come in here, come here, come. But before you do, please leave your shoes outside. It's just traditional, leave your shoes outside. One more thing. Can you leave your mind outside? And you say, there we go now, you see. I know there was a catch. How can I leave my mind outside? This is the very thing I come to ask your help for. I can't do it by myself. And I said, listen, no, don't panic. All I mean by saying leave your mind outside is, are you willing to just leave aside all your ideas about the past and about who you think you are? Can we just suspend that, leave it aside for the short duration of this guidance? A few minutes. Can you do it? Very good. Could you also not engage with any projections or hope about future, like what kind of world you'd like to live in, and how many children you'd like to have, and what religion you'd like to go towards? Can we not speak about these things? Because nobody knows about future really, and it never is what you expect. So for this short duration of speaking together like this, can we not talk about the future? Yeah. We won't speak about past, about what you have done before, where you have studied, how much meditation you have done, and all this, how long your longest meditation, and we don't want to talk about it. Okay? And about future, what you'd like to happen in the future. So let's not talk about that. So we are agreeing that we can just suspend for a few moments. And I promise that at the end of our exercise, you go back and pick your stuff up. Okay? If you want to. And I would say, I don't think anybody will mistakenly take your stuff. Okay? So, about past, and yes, I did this, I've already sat with 6 masters in the past, and all this type of stuff. Okay, and about in the future, I want to do this, I want to teach meditation, and just leave all these things for now. And even about the present moment, don't allow your mind to come in and interpret anything about the present moment. Are we good with this? Yes. We have started, okay? What it is now, if about past, we're not going to be relating from or speaking about the past, and nothing about future. And even about the present moment. The tendency for the mind to be giving advice and summarizations. Ignore that. Don't bring him in. Leave him outside. That even the desire for enlightenment itself, also don't engage with any idea. Don't hold on to any image in the mind at all, or any favorite concepts. Just leave it, leave everything, so that your mind space, the mind field, is empty, just empty. It's not difficult, you can do this. You've done it before maybe. Now just leave everything outside. And any kind of expectations, such as, okay, what next? Don't go to next. There's no need to use your imagination also. So that some people may say, I am not good at visualizing or imagining, so I'm not going to be good at this. No, I'm not going to ask you to imagine anything at all. So don't worry, you cannot fail in what I'm sharing with you. We're good? Yes. Just remain as you are now. No past, no history. They're just outside. No projections about the future. No fantasies. No expectations as to what is going to happen. So very naturally, a very empty state of being. And notice that in this field of just emptiness, concept-free, no memories, are you less yourself? Are you less yourself? No, you're very much here. So no luggage of thoughts, sensations, memories, projections, all these you have left now. Just for a short time while we are here together. Notice I've not asked you to control or to suppress your senses. Just let them function according to their own laws. This is a perfectly natural thing. You're simply here. You know spontaneously and naturally that you exist. And you're aware that you are perceiving. That's all. Not thinking, not clinging to memory or any self-image. Now it's likely that from time to time a little bit of fear may start to come, But don't worry, don't go with that. Just ignore this. Just pay attention just to the sense of being. I'm not asking you to create or imagine or invent anything at all. So this should be very simple and even enjoyable even for you. Now, I had to ask you just to do this, to come to this place which is empty of personhood, but still experience that your being is still totally present. How odd it may seem to you that the more you leave aside the usual preoccupations with your mind and thought, unexpectedly, you're very present in this moment. So I had to ask you to come to this place so that I may ask you a few very simple questions, which I would appreciate some response, just yes or no responses, as you spontaneously feel them. Now, what really is here right now? Isn't there a sense of immeasurable space and a silence? But it is not dead, like an intelligent field, just being aware. Can you sense this? Yes. It will be helpful if from your own self you respond also. Now, whatever it is that this is, I call it just the isness, or the what is, or pure awareness itself. May I ask you, is it an object? No, not an object. Does it have size or shape? No. Please answer. Could it be said to be just a feeling? No, not a feeling. Is it a mood? No, not a mood. Are you imagining this? No, not imagining. May I ask you, is there any boundary beyond which this is not? No. Really be present now. Can the isness, this sense of awareness, could it be captured in some way, like the most incredible, accurate photography? Could it capture it in some way? No. Are you with me on the top there too? Yes, yes. May I ask you also, can it fade? so that if you were to fall asleep and a few hours have passed, when you wake up, it would have faded or disappeared? Is it possible? No, no, not possible. Could the isness become frustrated or angry? No. Okay. Could it be owned or be used by any individual or organization or group? No. Just stay as you are. May I ask you, can the mind exist outside of the isness? No. Here is a tricky one, maybe. Was it born? Let me hear from you. No. Maybe more tricky. Can it die? No, it cannot die. Did you create it? Can it become sick or depressed? Let me ask you this one. Maybe this could be maybe the last question for now. How far away from you is it? Inches? A meter? How far from you is it? Again, I ask, are you separated by some distance? How? No distance. Let me try and recap what has happened, because I ask you, is it an object? And you say, no, not an object. I ask you, does it have form or size or shape? And you say, no, it is not that. I ask if it could be captured in some way, like a painting or a photograph or something. You say, no, it cannot. I ask, is it a feeling or a mood? And you say, no, it's not that. I asked if it can be, I think I've asked before, can it be manipulated or owned or used by any group, however clever? No, you say it cannot be done. Can it be manipulated? Can it be manipulated? No. I asked also, can the mind exist or function outside of isness? You say, it cannot, no. Then I asked some that I thought might be difficult. Was it born? And you say, it was not born. My second question following this, linked, can it die? And you say, no. Can it fade? No. And then finally I asked, where is it? How far from you? How much distance from where you are is it? And you say, no distance. So would it be wrong of me to say, based on those responses, your responses are all about you? Again, if what you speak is honest and true, all that you have responded to is about your true self. I'll give you a little time to change your mind about it. Can you see the reason why I asked you to leave the mind outside? Because your mind would give opinions. Where do these responses come from? I asked, don't imagine, don't create, don't visualize. Where does your response come from? You are discovering this field of being or isness now. But where has it been all this time? It has always been here. Could it possibly be true that what we are discovering is the truth of your own self before the conditionings and the ideas were formed in the mind that you are the person you take yourself to be? Let's just take us a few seconds to digest and assimilate what we have just been looking at. Formless. Beyond sickness, beyond depression, not merely a feeling, unfading, unborn, imperishable, distanceless from yourself. Cannot be manipulated. Is it male or female? No. Have you ever felt more silent and empty, content than you do now? Do you want to know what your mind thinks about this? Well, as I promised earlier, your stuff is just outside, reclaimable any point you want. Could it be that this is the most true that you felt about yourself? But the age-old entrenched ideas and habits, they will come back. Will the isness move over for the old mind to come and reclaim its throne in the seat of your mind and heart? My God, you don't yet realize what you are discovering. I put this as the greatest discovery in the human kingdom. But we are newborn in terms of our experience. The mind might say, but how can, it's not realistic, how can anybody live like this? Well, how are you living like this right now? Are you doing something to be? In our culturing, many things were introduced as essential to life. You must be like that, you must become important, you must do this thing, you must do this thing. And some of it, much of it we accept because it is often told to us by people who clearly love us. And not all conditioning is bad. Many wonderful conditioning. But is the isness a conditioning? Can I ask? Have you lost anything of value? May I ask? Is this a disappointing discovery? Is it a trap? What now? How does one live? Well, gradually you will come to see that it's not about how you live. You are life. And at the same time, the unfolding of life appears to you who observe, perceive, experience. But yourself, who precisely are you? Don't be distracted. The mind will come. Maybe especially now. Whatever it is that has not been in service to the truth of your own self will sometime come very forcefully to the surface to sabotage your seeing, to see if it can create turmoil in you. See it as a good thing. Remain as the isness. Stay as yourself. There may come times when you feel it's impossible. The mind is too strong. I want to remind you, you can be without this psychological state, but it cannot exist without you. You are its witness. Just like I'm looking at my hand is not looking at me. In the same way, you are the witness to your life. You are the witness to life itself. But mind has been interpreting, looking from the place of the isness. All things come into natural alignment. I'm not going to say it's going to be all easy and cozy, bed of roses without thorns. Maybe to really win yourself back completely, you will go through strong forces of resistance may come for you. But they can only come for the idea you have of who you are and not for your true self. Do you understand this though? What to do now? Because mind may present some kind of thing. So what's going to happen now? Okay, Miss Buddha, what you going to do now? Okay. All I will say to you is let your attention marinate in what you are discovering. You don't have to add anything to it or subtract anything from it. You don't need to speak about it. You're not able to. Just quietly marinate in it. What it means to marinate. It is like someone has given you the most precious gift, but it is invisible. And yet you know it, but you cannot show it. But this is not a gift that you will hold in your hand. It is not even a gift that you will hold in your heart. You are the gift. You are simply receiving your own self. So, I tell you ahead of time that the ego mind is going to rebel. It's going to say, I'm not having any of this. You think I'm going to leave me here? I'm going to make your life hell. But is life something you have? Everyone who has awakened to the truth of themselves passes through this fire. I only remind you, God is with you. Truth is with you. Grace is with you. Don't give up. If I were to address you as the isness itself, my words would be meaningless to say don't give up. Because the isness cannot give up or get, because it is complete. But you will forget this. Who are you who will forget it? The memory you have of the idea you have of yourself. And the chance you have is to wake up out of the sleep of forgetfulness. You must have been at least ready somewhat to be here today, to hear what is being shared here. I cannot guarantee who among you will go all the way through. It is like reversing a glove, you know. You put your hand in, you pull it out the other way, and most of it comes out, but some is still tucked in the other way, and you may have to squeeze that bit out. And that squeezing out might feel, why? How painful. But it will also be your joy. Many beings throughout the world are thirsting for what you're seeing today. Not just what you are believing, but what you are experiencing, and will have to grow to confirm more and more. Now you may see why I said earlier, let's go for a walk in this exercise of looking, to see what you discover. Don't talk about it. It's not yet time. Marinate in it, not by thinking. If you wish to think about it, you invite the old mind back. He's not your friend, not yet. Conquer him. How? By remaining one with what you have seen. Fall in love with it. It's the one love that will never betray you. You are discovering the fruit of your own being, and it's a fruit that will keep getting sweeter and sweeter each day, but will never become oversweet, and it will never decay. This is the fruit of being. I have not come to offer you information, but to put in front of you a mirror that you may look again into your own timelessness. Some of you may feel you're not worthy, not ready. But that is just due to wrong knowledge. This is a mortal body, a time body. But the immortal being is living inside it. He never dies. I want to tell you, for those of you in whose heart what I've been sharing with you, if it resonates in you, and you feel that you want to go more deeply into this, there are many videos on YouTube. They are totally free. You may go there. But recently, the team, my team, has put together a thing called toolkit to the invitation. What it is that when you will experience a backlash from the ego mind, you may go there. A selection of videos have been put that are very likely to be the kind of questions that you will come up in your mind, and they will guide you. That is also free for you. Make use of it. I did not invite one single being here to come here. Something brought you here. We have for a very long time maybe imagined that you are separate from this. Maybe you never even have an idea about it. Whatever it is that brought you here, I call it grace. It's a simple word for me. This will stay with you. She will be your friend, your guide. If you love her, she will take care of you. Thank you. One of our dear friends, Prasad, is going to come and play something from, I think he's bringing an album or something, but beautiful music, I think, is coming. Please enjoy.
Beloved one, a silent song here with you. This heart belongs, tears of joy brought these eyes to see. The heart that sings with yours is the heart that's free, beloved one. Yeah, yeah, beloved one. Beloved one. And why not you? Why not today? Why not now? Let it all fall away. The one who came to you is so long gone, and all that remains is just a song of love. Here in your grace, yeah, yeah, beloved. never died. War is here in this heart of mine. Everything has once been seeking. Every moment silence is speaking, beloved one. Oh, beloved one. Yeah, yeah, beloved one. Beloved one.